All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 19. Welcome to day 19 of our AI technology and prompt engineering training. Today, we're going to be kicking off our class or our section on agentic AI. We've done a whole lot of stuff in the last 18 days. Now we're moving into new waters. And thank you to every one of you that's done presented. We're super excited, and I'm proud of every one of you. For you to have been consistent for 19 days, like someone said in the chat box, no big beans, right? So let's get started. Agentic AI. So what's the goal here? The goal is that we want to move from AI assistants to AI workers. And this is actually where the future of AI is, or this is where the future of AI begins, all right? And so, you know how we do it. Like I said, in the next 4 to 5 days, this is going to be our focus before we dive into AI and automation fully. So now I want you to have a mental picture of 100 employees, for example. All right. What if every individual had access to 100 intelligent workers? I mean, think about it. If every individual had an access to 100 intelligent workers that never sleep, never complain, and can learn new skills in minutes, this is actually the promise of agentic AI. Remember that when we started, we spoke about human intelligence and artificial intelligence, and I told you that the human intelligence is so powerful. And over the last 18 days, I've been able to show you why it's important for you not to subject your intelligence to AI tools alone. That's you're super intelligent. But of course, as human beings, we get tired, we get emotional, right? As we're here now, Summer Queen can just say, oh, she's emotional, and because of that today, she will not share link for us to learn, right? So she's a human being. You're all human beings. You get tired, you can forget things. Okay, but just imagine that you hire 100 intelligent people and they are not sleeping, they don't complain, they can learn any new skill in minutes and implement it. Like they're just excited doing their stuff. They don't complain, they don't get tired. That is what we're talking about when we try to mention agentic AI. But let's quickly look at the evolution of computing, all right? First we started with industrial machines, okay, which of course we did have mechanical power replacing manual power, okay, where people were trying to do stuff manually, and then we had machines coming. So we tried to carry cement, and then we said, let's have wheelbarrows and all of those to help us do stuff. And from there, we moved to computers where machines began to calculate and store information. All right. So we were able to start having machines store information. Remember, this is the capability of human beings to be able to make calculations and store information. But because again, we're humans, we could, yes, we can do most of these calculations, but it's a little bit slower most times. All right. Then we got to the internet era where the world becomes instantly connected and became a global village. All right. We got to the era of smartphones. Most of us might not be able to relate, but our elder brothers and our parents told us about the kind of phone they ever used. All right. There is this particular one they said they had to go by the roadside and turn it and turn it and turn it and turn it before they could be able to, and all of those things, and then landlines and stuff. But then we got to the part of cloud computing where we started exploring the infinite power available on demand, where we could access a whole lot of stuff, put up too many things, and then access them. And then that era again, from internet, smartphone, cloud computing, we started generating and storing a whole lot of data. All right. And that led to the concept of big data everything. Just for a second, just imagine the number of pictures that's been uploaded on social media. Let's say Facebook, for example, in the last 1 minute. Imagine the millions and millions of videos that would have been uploaded on Instagram in the last 1 minute. That's what we're talking about. Then we have generative AI, these machines that can create, all right? These machines that can create, not just compute, okay? ChatGPT came and that is it, and the whole world went, gaga. Wow, are you serious? And then you have agentic AI machines that can decide and execute. Now, what are we saying about agentic AI? We're saying we're looking at a system that can act, it can decide, it can execute, all right? So, but let's look at three important errors. Three important errors. You have error one, that's the recognition AI. This whole thing started with face recognitions with our phones. We moved from fingerprints, to, face recognition and all of that. You had spam detection, you had speech recognition, recommendation engines. This was the goal here basically was to recognize patterns, okay? And like, if you remember when we had a class on AI technology, when we're looking at how AI really works, one of the things we talked about was the fact that we get to a step where AI begin to study the pattern. The goal is to be able to look at a pattern and try to understand the pattern, within the data. All right. So that was the first error. The first error is recognition AI. The second error is the generative AI, where we're now having ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek, Midjourney, Runway, Perplexity, and all of that. Most of these tools, we've already looked at them in this class, and some of you have done presentation on them already, right? This is generative AI. That's the second error, all right? And then we now move to the third error, the agentic AI. Very powerful era. And that era is where we're talking about AI researchers, AI software engineers, AI customer support agents, AI sales agents, AI personal assistants. So we're saying it's an agent. So we're not just talking about human researchers now. We're talking about AI researchers. So we build an agent that can be able to do research. We're talking about AI software engineers. We're not talking about software developers now. We're talking about AI as software engineers, AI customer support agents, AI sales agents, AI personal assistants, and these are all of it. Now, before I proceed, I'm going to ask you, let's see if you're with me, both on Zoom and on YouTube. Let's see if you're with me. I just mentioned 3 errors. Please write down those 3 errors for me in the chat box. Let me see. Do that quickly. Let me see if you're following. All right. Amazing. Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. All right, amazing. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone who, thanks to everyone of you. Okay, so we said we had 3 errors. All right, we had 3 errors, and I'm happy that you're all getting it in the chat box. So we had the recognition AI error. We have the generative AI is still there. The error is still there. Like, and then we have the okay. Now, what is this slide saying? In this slide, I said there is a big misconception. ChatGPT is not the revolution. ChatGPT is not all there is to AI. Claude is not all there is to AI. And that's why I said when you get to a certain level, your conversation will no longer be ChatGPT is better than Claude or Claude is better than ChatGPT. You've grown past that level now. That conversation is for those who are at the level of consumption. For you as an AI expert, you've grown past that conversation because your focus is in solution. Your focus is in value. So you understand what it is. ChatGPT is just an interface. All right. Large language models, LLMs, as we've been learning in previous classes, provide reasoning. So you have an interface, ChatGPT apps, chat windows as you see them. But there is a reasoning. That's the LLM that thinks and responds. And we've looked at this over and over again. And after that, there is an execution. The real revolution is actually in autonomous execution. What we mean by that is where we can have a system do stuff with little or no interference by you. That is the goal, all right? That's the goal, where we can be able to do stuff without us interfering. Now, what is the difference between generative or reactive AIs and agentic AI? Now, pay attention. This is very important. Number one is that your reactive AI waits for instructions. So if you go to your ChatGPT, for example, it doesn't just start doing stuff. It waits for you to give it an instruction. It answers questions. It follows instructions. It follows, no matter how the instruction is. And remember, when you were doing prompt engineering, all right, even when we started doing RAGing, or when we talked about RAGing, is the same thing that we tried to talk about. So when we did prompt engineering, we looked at those various types of prompts, be it chain of thought prompting, be it zero-shot prompting, and all of that. The idea is that we must wait for an instruction. It must wait for an instruction. You must tell it something to do. It can only handle one task. So once that one is running, you can't start running another one. Okay? It doesn't plan for anything. It all depends on you. And this is not when you ask it to develop a plan. That's not what I mean here. But it doesn't plan anything. It's just, it all depends on you. And then it has no long-term goal. You see that? It has no long-term goal. There is absolutely no long-term goal. There is absolutely no long-term goal. Now, what happens to agentic AI, or what happens in agentic AI? Now, agentic AI will accept goals. You see that? It will accept goals. It can plan the work. It can be able to use other tools. All right? You can be able to use other tools. And of course, it can remember context. But most importantly, it can act autonomously. It can act autonomously. In other words, it can act on its own with little or no interference from you. Okay? So it can also evaluate results. It can evaluate results. All right? It can evaluate results. So you can see that. So let's see. Let me go to the next slide if I ask my question. So let me ask you, can you mention one thing about agentic AI from what we just discussed now? I just gave you several things. One thing about agentic AI. Please drop it in the chat box quickly. Etidara said accept goals. Temisa uses tools, Please, for those of you on YouTube, you can as well drop, if you're watching on YouTube, you can as well You can as well drop. All right. So now we've been able to come up at Harvard Tech Hub with what we call the AI capability ladder. All right. We've been able to come up with what we call the AI capability ladder, and it's a very important concept right there. Okay, so we call it the AI capability ladder. Okay. Now, what are we saying here? What are we saying here? We're looking at like how far AI has actually come. Okay. Number one is answer. And what are we saying there? That AI, we're looking at how far AI has actually come. And remember that you're becoming an AI expert. I'm happy that you've all outgrown the idea of generate picture, generate video, and all of that. And so as you begin to mature into the AI space, it is important that you always pay attention to say, how far have we come? You must always pay attention, else you might be in a particular phase in AI, and while you're just getting excited there, things have moved on, and to look as if the world is already 10 years ahead of you. So we started from answer. What does that mean? Where it was, it was all about responding to direct questions with accurate information. All right. We moved from there to create, where it began to generate original text, images, code, and media. It will interest you to know that there was a time when ChatGPT was not actually generating images. That's to tell you how far we've come. All right. That will tell you how far we've come. All right. So ChatGPT you're using today was not a ChatGPT that was there a couple of even months ago. So a whole lot of things have changed. And if you listen to Mercy Ebere during her presentation, she talked about how Grok AI, moved from Grok 1, Grok 2, just like that. That's to tell you, because things are changing very fast. And I told you in one of our sections, I'm going to explain to us how these companies were able to take advantage of your prompts that at the earlier stages to make a whole lot of things better. Number three is reasoning. So we moved from answer create to reason, where it began to break down complex problems into logical steps. All right. That's reason, where it began to break stuff into complex problems into logical steps. And then we got to number four, where it became a whole lot easier for us to experience, sequences, multiple steps toward goals. So this is a goal, and we can have different steps, different sequences, toward a goal. Then number five is act. You say execute tasks using real tools and systems. Okay, so we can now execute tasks using real tools and systems. Today you have Lovable. We can build websites and all. We have Boot.new. I think Riches Alexander is supposed to do a presentation on that. Okay, so we'll be able to look at that as time progresses. Okay, then collaborate. Okay, so works alongside humans and other agents. Okay, we've gotten to that level as well. And of course, we're now in level 7, where there is continuous improvements, where you can actually experience the refinement of performance within human defined goals and oversight. All right, so this is what we refer to as the AI capability ladder. Okay, where we move from answer to continuous improvement. We answer, we create, we reason, we plan, we act, we collaborate, and then we talk about the continuous improvement. This is how far AI has actually come. We started by answering, moved to answering and creating, where we got to a point where we can answer, we create, we reason. We got to a point where we can answer, create, reason, and plan. We got to a point where we can answer, create, reason, plan, and act. We got to a point where we can answer, create, reason, plan, act, and collaborate. And then, of course, we continue to we got to a phase where we can improve on whatever that's been done. Humans can continue to improve on it and stuff. All right. So let's move on. So let's look at the AI worker theory. Okay, it's a Harvard's AI worker framework. And before I do that, let's go back to the AI capability ladder. I gave us 7 things there. Just mention one. Don't mention more than one. Just mention one in the chat box. Yeah. Okay, cool. So in the chat box, I can see, yeah. I'm checking out on Facebook as well. On Facebook, Gladys Darius have done create, alternated have done answer and all. Amazing. Now, I want you to arrange them in that order, 7 of them. Now you can see all of them in the chat box. See if you can remember to arrange them in that order. I'll give you 1 minute quickly, everyone. Arrange them in that order quickly. Answer, create, reason, plan, act, collaborate, and continuous improvement. Somebody should give us an acronym we can use to remember these. ACR pack. ACR pack. Yeah, ACR pack. Yeah, amazing. You know, you guys are so super brilliant. Even those on YouTube. Somebody on Zoom said ACR, then PAC squared. Thank you, Tinja. Amazing. ACR pack, nice. All right, so let's look at the AI worker theory. So what happens? So let's look at maybe, for example, AI intent. So what does it do? It learns the rope. Listen carefully. It learns the rope. Needs constant supervision. So we're looking at the various phases your AI agent, So let's call this person an intern. You know, when you say you want to go an intern somewhere, it is because you want to learn stuff. You want to get better. You want to grow and stuff, right? So AI intern, okay? It learns the rope. It needs constant supervision. For example, if we're drafting first pass content and summaries, okay? That's it. It can be best used by a junior research support. Of course, I'm going to make this slide available on sharevira.co, so you can go take it from there. I'm going to make it available tonight. So once it's ready, Summer Queen is going to share it with us in our group. So those of you on YouTube as well, you can have access to it, okay? Then you move to the AI specialist. So this is, what it does is, it does have, deep expertise in one narrow domain. Take note, in one narrow domain. So for a particular domain, it's an expert. He understands a whole lot in that particular narrow domain. So for example, if we want an AI tool that can review contracts or that can review codes, that's an AI specialist. All right. So it is domain specific. We want an AI that can give a legal advice based on certain things after we must have trained it on certain information, all right? Then you have the AI assistants. This one handles day-to-day tasks proactively. For example, the Tiny Pitch platform you guys talked about is a graphic design AI-powered assistant tool. So you'll be able to handle day-to-day tasks proactively. For example, if we want to daily reschedule stuff, so we can have an AI assistant that can help us schedule stuff, you know, even when you're not there. Inbox, customer relationship triage, and all of that. You know, so for personal productivity, that's an AI assistant. Then you have the AI manager. What does this guy do? This guy will be able to coordinate other AI workers and tasks. So an AI manager can coordinate an AI intern, it can coordinate an AI specialist, it can coordinate an AI assistant to be able to ensure that we achieve a particular goal. So it is actually a multi-agent project orchestration. So what happens there is that it can coordinate several agents to ensure that we get results. The idea is that there is a team level workflow. Okay, so you have a team level workflow for us to be able to get results. Then you have the AI organization. This is a full AI run business function. Okay, example is an autonomous customer support unit. Okay, so for an AI organization, you're talking about a system where for the entire business, the AI can run everything. You understand? So if you have an autonomous customer support unit, it can handle everything from technical problems, it can handle finance complaints and all of those stuff, all right? So that is what we refer to as our AI worker theory. Now, let's look at what AI, as of today, what AI can do. All right, let's look at what AI can do. Number one is that our AI knows, but remember, when we were looking at ragging, we explained that AI knows, and that is why whatever you're prompting, no matter how good you are with prompting, AI can only give you what it knows. But once we want to go further, we do ragging, where we can be able to add to what the AI knows to be able to get results with respect to what we're asking it. Okay, so AI knows, AI explains, AI reasons, and AI answers. This is not a lie. We already know this. But what does agentic AI bring to the table? What is agentic AI adding, or what is the extra thing that agentic AI is going to do? Agentic AI is going to ensure that AI acts. It's going to ensure that AI plans. It's going to ensure that AI executes without you telling it to execute. It's going to ensure that AI reviews, and it's going to ensure that AI improves. That is what agentic AI will do. All right. So it's going to ensure that it acts, it's going to ensure that it plans, it's going to ensure that it executes, it's going to ensure that it reviews, and it's going to ensure that it improves. Now, remember that when we started prompt engineering, we got to a point where we looked at the anatomy of a prompt. If you can remember that, we looked at the anatomy of a prompt. But tonight, we're also going to be looking at the 5 building blocks of every AI agent. The 5 building blocks. And so I'm going to give it to us one by one, and I want you to type it in the chat box, both on Zoom and on YouTube. We have goal. That's number 1. Can we all type goal? Can we all type goal? The anatomy of a prompt, goal. So you must, one of the building blocks of AI agents is that we must define what success looks like. Like, what is it we're going to say that this is what this AI tool is expected to do, and if it succeeds in doing it, then we have won. We have achieved that result. What does success look like? What is the ultimate goal of what we're doing? That's what we mean. So we must be able to define what success looks like. We must be able to define what success looks like. Number 2 is that we must also try to execute steps, all right? In the real world, it should be able to do that. The AI agents will be able to execute steps. So that means we must create action. We must create action. there must be actions. If we have a goal, there must be actions. It must be executing steps in the real world. Okay, so we're able to understand that, oh, there is a problem and we want to be able to solve it. That's what we mean by a goal. All right, but then we now move to actions. You should be able to execute steps in the real world. But there should be reasoning. That's number 3, reasoning. Please, those of us on YouTube, you've only typed in goal. I've not seen actions. So type in actions now, and then we're already in reasoning. So we should be able to have reasoning. It must think through the best approach to give us the result, and not just the result, the best accurate result. All right, the best accurate result. So there must be reasoning. There must be reasoning. Then the next one is tools. Okay, it must connect to real systems and APIs. So for it to work most times, we have to be able to integrate APIs. In one of our classes, I explained to us the concept of API, and I told you the meaning. Who can remember that? Please type it in the chat box. The meaning of APIs. I gave it to us. I told us what APIs are. Then retain context across steps. That's memory. That's the last thing. Memory. Number 4, or one of the building blocks is that we should connect tools to real systems and APIs. And then the next one is that it retains context across steps. Okay, so when it's moving from step 1 to step 2, it should have the ability to retain, context as we move across different steps. Okay. Amazing. Thank you. Application programming interface. Thank you. Even on YouTube, Moscow Digital. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, very simple. We'll just quickly understand this, that for single agents, as the tasks grow more complex, and you have one agent trying to do everything, you can run into problem. And that's why most times we create multiple agent systems, okay, or multi-agent systems, okay. But before I just proceed with that, can you now compile in one message the 5 building blocks of an AI agent, the 5 building blocks of an AI agent in one message? And I want you to do it in 30 seconds, so do it very fast. I gave you about 5 of them in no particular order. Thank you, Emmanuel Christopher. Thank you, HP. Thank you, Springforth. No, Kachi, I want all of them all at once. I don't want them one. Thank you, Doris. Etidara, thank you. Egu Gloria, thank you. Peace Sunday. Temi, thank you. Thank you. Acha, thank you. Botson, thank you. Amazing stuff right there. And can somebody give us an acronym for that? Carve out any acronym we can use to remember that. Yeah, somebody said GATS-M. GATS-M, that's amazing. GATS-M, all right. So I was talking about single agents. Thank you. Alternated on YouTube as also giving us acronym. And someone said MGRAT. Yeah, MGRAT. Okay, cool. So single agent, like I was saying, can become very overwhelmed, and so multi-agents can help break down the work across specialists so that each specialist can handle, a particular task the way real things work. So imagine that you're in a company and you're the admin, you're the receptionist, you're the HR, you're the operations officer, you're the manager, and all of that. It can be very overwhelming. But when you break this down to specialists, you hire a specialist a HR expert, you hire this, at the end of the day, you're going to have something that will work out smoothly for you. Okay, good. So now let's look at the agent loop. And I've told us before that when you talk about a loop, a loop means that the stuff will continue. Like it's a circle, it's like a circle. It can be continuous, it can be going. Now, this is an agent loop, and I want you to pay very, very, pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Because one of the reasons why most persons are not good with agentic AI is because most guys just rush into, create this, and it doesn't know. Once you understand the building blocks, as you begin to move gradually to automation, you're going to enjoy it. You'll be magical. You'll be able to create stuff, and you'll be able to think logically. Because you can see that in everything we've been seeing, there's a common denominator we've been saying since today. There's a common denominator: reasoning, right? Reasoning. Now, number one is goal. All right? Number one is goal. And it's like a loop. Don't forget, it's like a loop. So, goal. We've said that earlier on. So, you need to have a clear goal. And then you observe. There is observation. Then we reason. Then we plan. We evaluate, we learn, and we repeat. This is a very important loop. This is a very important loop. The goal: you observe, you reason, you plan, you evaluate, you learn, and you repeat. The goal: you observe, you reason, you plan, evaluate, learn, and repeat. This is the agent loop. So it must be that if I'm creating an agentic AI, I must pay attention. I'll say that again. I must pay attention to ensure that subconsciously I'm putting these at the back of my head to ensure that I get the kind of result that I need, that I know that if this must be a proper agent, that the goal must be clear, that my agent should be able to observe, and there should be a system that creates reasoning, that there should be a system to plan as to how the output is going to look like, to plan how the input is taken and all of that. And then we must be able to evaluate. We move on to learn from what we've done. We learn and save that context so that we probably can use it moving forward. And then we repeat the whole concept again. Now, the digital workforce, the new digital workforce. Now, look at you as someone in the middle. Look at you as someone in the middle. For businesses, one thing must stand out. Okay? One thing must stand out. And what is that? That there is a new way to run a business now. That there is a new way to run a business. A researcher, a designer, a writer, a developer, a marketing manager, a sales manager, customer support, data analyst, financial advisor, and all of that. The truth about it is that all of these guys we've mentioned, they can perform whatever they want to perform digitally. They can perform whatever they want to perform digitally. Okay. Just quickly, if you look at this, we've been able to be looking at prompt engineering, but I want us to just see why I keep saying we've moved past that stage for you, is that the attention is not just communicating with AI. You're doing that perfectly well now. You're doing good. You're able to navigate prompts, move prompts from here, put it here, get results, refine, and all of that. But in agent design, we want to be able to build AI workers, more like people doing those stuff that you were trying to do. okay? A workflow design is where we begin to connect the AI workers that we've created. And of course, we're now going to look at automation, where you use AI to run the entire flow. For example, we're running a system where people send us an email. We receive the email, send it to ChatGPT. ChatGPT looks at the email, reads the email, responds to the email based on whatever you've told it about your business. He understands your business. So it can respond to that email, and just like that. Where maybe they fill a form on the site, he picks the form, pick all the information from the form, craft a response, we send that response, just, all those kind of stuff. Very simple flow that I just explained now. All right. So what are the real-world applications? What are the real-world applications, guys? Education, for example, healthcare. Right? I was telling someone that one of the areas that people are not paying attention that AI is going to disrupt so massively is EdTech. Okay, EdTech. And most EdTech platforms are now consulting and looking out for ways to build for the future, because people are going to learn differently with AI. All right, we're going to have AI tutors that can adapt to each student. So much so that before you start learning a particular course, AI can ask you certain questions to know more about you and know what your learning capabilities are and know how to drive you through. Okay, so it is not just going to be that people will go to a system and say, I'm signing up to learn data analytics. No. One of the we're building a system like that for a client in the UK right now. One of the things that is going to happen is that when you step into a system and you want to learn data analytics course, that certain questions might be asked, and it will help the system know, oh, does this person need to even learn basic computer stuff? And you could be able to take basic computer lessons before you proceed to the other one. All right, that certain questions can be asked just to adapt. When is the best time for this person to learn? At what speed should this person learn? And all of those kind of stuff. All right, healthcare. All right, diagnostic support. All right, that you could be able to carry out certain diagnoses before we even move on to meeting a doctor and all of that. Finance, fraud detection, agriculture, crop monitoring and yield prediction, marketing, campaign creation and optimization. And this is where businesses have to begin to think. This is where businesses have to begin to think. What is really going on for businesses? What is really going on? As a CEO, and remember tomorrow, please don't forget, tomorrow is an exclusive section and it's for entrepreneurs and business owners. All right. And one of the things I'm going to be asking them, why do they think that as a CEO, the only thing you can be doing with AI at this stage and time is to generate pictures and image and open your teeth and just smile and get excited? All right. Most people don't understand how AI is so capable to help them draft out campaign strategies. They don't understand how AI can help them with optimization. Okay. Software developers are doing amazing stuff with AI. Government, AI-powered citizen services is another area. Logistics, route planning and fleet coordination. And of course, real estate. So these are some real-world applications of agents. Okay. And I would like to quickly state that the future, like I always told us, does not belong to those who simply use AI. It will always, always, always belong to those who know how to build AI systems, direct AI workers, and orchestrate intelligence. And that's why I gave you that piece I call the making of AI orchestrators. It's still available on shareviral.co. It's completely free. Go and take it, sit down and read it. Tomorrow is Saturday. If you're not going out, just sit down and read it. I promise you, when you finish reading it, you're going to have questions. Your mind is going to open up and you'll be able to know and decide what you want to really be in this AI space. All right. Whether you just want to be the guy who's always asking, please, where is the prompt to use in doing this? Give me, let me go and do it. Or you want to be the guy who controls what happens. Because I've told you that in the grand scheme of things, you get to a point where you just like when you pour food for, for chickens to it. So the food will just be poured for you while you're eating it. The bigger work is being done somewhere else just to distract you. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on. Please, if you've learned something so far, give me a yes in the chat box. If you've learned something so far, give me a big yes in the chat box. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm glad that we've learned a thing or two. So let's move on. Let's move on. So one of the things that you would have noticed is the fact that you cannot take away the idea that you started from somewhere and that you're already at this point where we're now having conversation about, agentic AI and what is capable or what is not capable of doing, okay? And this is what growth in learning is. This is what growth in learning is. And it simply means that you have to be able to always open your mind to be able to understand what and what. So what exactly is agentic AI? Somebody should help us type it in. I'm going to give you a definition. What exactly agentic AI? So agentic AI refers to a system, refers to AI systems that can act autonomously to achieve a goal rather than simply responding to a prompt. Should I say that again? Yeah. So agentic AI refers to, let me see, someone has dropped it. Okay, let me say the way I said it before. So refers to AI systems that can act autonomously to achieve a goal rather than simply responding to a single prompt. Like we said, most AI tools are actually very, very reactive, like you know it today. But agentic AI is goal-driven. Agentic AI is goal-driven, and that is what makes it extremely very, very unique. So don't forget what I told us earlier on, that number one, that there must be a goal. Your agentic AI should be able to plan, we can be able to use tools, and of course, we talk about memories, okay? And we talk about memories. Okay. So I think we should try to take something so that we'll begin. So we're going to, so someone will want to ask, all right, yeah, we've known prompt engineering and all of that. See, this is what I'm going to tell you. Like I said earlier on, prompt engineering teaches you like how to talk to AI. That's what it does. It teaches you how to talk to AI. But agentic AI teaches you how to make AI work for you. Can somebody write that down? Write it down so I don't forget it. Write it down. So we say prompt engineering teaches you how to talk to AI, no problem. But agentic AI teaches you how to make AI work for you. All right, how to make AI work for you. All right. So please, are you ready? If you're ready, tell me you're ready. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen so that I can share. I can remember there is an account we used to use. So let me open the account so we can use it, right? So let me stop sharing for a moment. Okay. So what should we use? I think we should use today. Let's try to use Google AI Studio. Okay. Let's use Google AI Studio. Please, thanks to every one of you on YouTube. I can see the amazing work you're doing. So you don't think I'm just focusing on those on Zoom. Peace up and thank you. Alternated, well done. Gladys Darius, thank you. Ann Nabula, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Lucky Okbara, thank you. Moscow Digital, I always see you. Thank you. Okay. Just a minute. Let me get my Google Studio up. All right. I think we are game. Let's see. All right. So yeah, my Google Studio is up, guys. Confirm you can see my screen. Okay, so that's fine. You can as well decide to use ChatGPT or anything to do a little bit of this practice. We're starting today with a very soft practice to begin to show you exactly what we want to do. All right. So let's say today we want to be able to create an agent. We're starting with something very simple. All right. We're starting with something very simple. Let's call the agent name, let's call it Startup Idea Generator Agent. Somebody type it in the chat box. Startup Idea Generator Agent. That's our agent name. That's our agent name. So remember, step one is that we must define the agent's goal. Step one is that we must define the agent's goal. We must define the agent's goal. What is the goal of this agent that we're trying to build? All right. What is the main goal? Now, we have a name for this agent and we say, please, what did we say it is? I think somebody has typed it in the chat box. Yeah, Startup Idea Generator Agent. Startup should be one word. Startup Idea Generator Agent. Startup Idea Generator Agent. Thank you, Priestley Intels. Thank you, Godson, Sylvia, Yusuf Bunya, David Coco. Thank you, every one of you, amazing guys. On YouTube, thank you as well. Thank you, Peace Up, and I can see you. Johnson, Favor, Kachi, thank you. Holodami, thank you. Peace Sunday, Confidence, thank you. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, what is the goal for this stuff we want to do now? What is the goal? So we can write like this. We can say the goal, remember what I said, that we must have the goal as to what we want to achieve. So if I say I want to build an agent and I'm calling it Startup Idea Generator Agent, right? What is the goal of this agent? So we want to say that the goal is to help Nigerian entrepreneurs. Yes, Etidara, please help me type very fast so I don't lose my thought. Help Nigerian entrepreneurs discover profitable business ideas. All right, help Nigerian entrepreneurs. Yeah, thank you very much, Messi Berry. That's step one. Step one is define the goal. So we've given it the name. Now we're giving the goal. The goal is to help Nigerian entrepreneurs discover profitable business ideas. All right, help Nigerian entrepreneurs discover profitable business ideas. So the next thing we're going to do is let's quickly open our Google AI Studio. All right. And before we do anything, we must be able to give our agent an identity. We must be able to give our agent what? What did I say we must be able to give our agent? I want to be sure you can hear me and you're following. Yes, an identity. Thank you. Thank you. David Coco, thank you. Olodami, Gloria Jaja, Prudence, amazing people. Kafayat, Sylvia, thank you. On YouTube, Peace Akban, thank you as well. Amiofori, thank you. Ngozi, thank you. Nathan Prince, well done. Okay, cool. Alternated 47 on YouTube, thank you as well. So we must be able to give it an identity. All right. So we can begin to define the role, okay, of the AI. So if we're ready, let's proceed. So let's simply say that, how should we put it? So let's simply say you are an AI business consultant. You are an AI business consultant that helps entrepreneurs discover profitable business ideas. All right, so let me give you some time to look at that. Okay, let me give you some time to look at that. Okay, so we're saying you are an AI business consultant, okay, that helps entrepreneurs identify profitable business ideas. Okay. Okay. So let me add context to it. Let me add more context, not just ideas. Let me say in Nigerian cities. in Nigerian cities. Okay, you're an AI business consultant that helps entrepreneurs discover or identify anyone you want to use, profitable business ideas. Yeah, or let's say, let's use opportunities. Okay, all right, in Nigerian cities. In Nigerian cities, okay. Please, if you're taking notes, let me know if you're taking note of what we're doing. So we're trying to give it an identity. We're trying to give it an identity, okay? And we can do much more. We can even add things like, let's say, let's tell it that you analyze problems in the market and suggest business ideas. So we can tell it that you analyze problems in the market. You analyze problems in the market and suggest business ideas. Okay. Please, are we following so far? Are we following so far? Yes or no? Okay. Mercy says she's following, so we're good. Yeah, we analyze problems in the, let me read what Godson typed. You analyze problems in the market and suggest business ideas, yeah, that can solve those problems. And suggest business ideas that can solve those problems. You must give it an identity. So you see where what you did in prompt engineering is going to play a role. It is not, this one is not going to be, this is not going to be based on too many prompts that you don't know. This one is not going to be the way, hey, cinematic, this one, it's a lie. This one, you as a human being must be clear on the goal. Grace, and so please stop writing on the screen. You must be clear as a human being, like as a very serious human being. You must be very clear as to what your goal is. You must be very clear as to what your goal is so that you know what to do. Okay? So let's tell it that let's tell it to, should always endeavor to provide structured answers and clear explanation. I think that will work. So always let's tell it to always provide structured answers. I think that's fine. Always provide well-structured answers and clear explanation. I think that's better. Always provide well-structured answers. Always provide well-structured answers. Right? And clear explanations. I think that will do. I think that will do. Okay. So the essence of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that this step has actually defined who the AI agent is. You see how I'm breaking this gradually. Don't rush it. Just try to be immersed in this stuff. Try to understand it. I'm not rushing it. I'm not rushing it. So just try to pay attention and get what's going on. The first thing I've done is to really give the agent an identity. The agent must know itself. If the agent is not aware there is a prince, then he might actually be sleeping on the day of coronation. So we must give the agent its identity. We must give the agent its identity. If you say the agent is a soldier, it must know that it's a soldier. It must know that it has the capacity to carry guns. It should know that it has the capacity to catch criminals. It should just give the agent an identity. I'll say that again. Give your agent an identity. Give the agent an identity. Tell it who it is. Tell it what it is supposed to do. Don't assume. Remember, we've said countless times in this class that AIs are not mind readers. AIs are not mind readers, because if you do not coordinate your agent well, then it will be useless. It will be useless. So the next thing we're going to do now is to define the agent workflow. Now that the agent knows that, okay, this is who I am, we can begin now to give the agent that, hey, this is what I want you to do. Right? We can begin to tell the agent, okay, this is what I want you to do. Okay? So let's proceed by telling the agent that what should happen, because he's an agent. Remember why he's an agent. Why he's an agent is that he should be able to tell people, you know, business ideas. He should give business ideas and all of that. So we have to be able to now proceed to give it more things so that it can be able to do that. You've given it an identity. The next thing I say you should do is give it a workflow. What should happen? For example, we can say that when a user provides a city name, okay? When a user provides a city name, when a user provides a city name, when a user provides a city name, can you see that? Do the following. I'm using something very simple. I'm not using, check what I'm writing. I've not used any complex English. Yes, Richard, you're correct. Of course, role playing, yeah. I have not used any complex English. I've not, just plain simple things. The goal is to get results. I've told us before that it is not the complexity of your prompt that guarantees the accuracy of your output. It is the quality, clarity, and relevance. If you remember, we call it QCR. That will also lead to a quality, clear, and relevant output. It is not by the complexity. So we can ask it to follow the following step. Okay? All right? So we can ask it to do the following. So, for example, we can say step 1, identify common problems people face in the city. All right? So if a user, all right, so when a user provides a city, okay, step 1, so a user comes to the agent, provides a city, we want to tell it that it should do the following, that it should follow these steps. So we say identify the common problems people face in that city, that particular city that the user typed in. So we say identify the problems people face in that city. That's the city that the user had given to the user indicated. Do you get? So it should be able to give us and identify the problems that the user will face in that city. So identify common problems people face in that city. And then we can move on to step 2, and we can ask it to please, Grace, so please stop writing on the screen. Sorry. You're writing on the screen, Grace. If you can help us, I would really appreciate it. Please, guys, permit me to stop sharing and share again. Okay, please confirm you can see my screen now, everyone. Okay. So we're looking at step 2. For step 1, we say identify common problems. That's what we said. Identify common problems people face in that city. And step 2, we said suggest 5 business opportunities that solve those problems. That's what we can say for step 2. Suggest 5 business opportunities that solve those problems. Suggest 5 business opportunities that solve those problems. So you can see, remember we talked about plan, we talked about goal, we talked about plan. There must be a clear plan as to what should happen after which one, after this, what should happen. Then that plan must be there. That plan must be there. Okay, that plan must be there. So if we say when a user provides a city name, do this, identify the common problems people face in that city. That's the city that the user will give to us. Okay, the city that the user will give to us. And then in step 2, we'll now say suggest 5 business opportunities that solve those problems. Right? We can decide to give you step 3 and simply ask it to estimate startup cost. Okay? So step 3, let's say it should estimate startup cost. Okay? So remember the first part, we've given the AI an identity. We say, okay, now we've given it an identity. Let us be able to craft the workflow, the agent workflow. What should happen? And we said, when a user provides a city, you're telling it that if a user, anybody that will use this agent, if the person gives us a city, right, we should be able, right, that step 1, immediately a user gives it a city, it should identify common problems people face in that city. Don't forget that you've already mentioned that it is actually an AI business consultant that helps entrepreneurs discover profitable business opportunities in Nigerian cities. So now you're telling me that if a user should give it a city name, then the first thing you want it to do is to identify common problems people face in that city. Then number 2, it should suggest 5 business opportunities that solve those problems, right? And then that step 3, it should estimate the startup cost. Then we can proceed to step 4 by asking it to maybe suggest a simple marketing strategy. Okay, so we can say step 4, suggest simple marketing strategies. So let's theme it. Let's not allow it to just go and run. So instead of just saying suggest simple, let's give it suggest 3 simple marketing strategies. Yeah. So we have 4 now, and I think that will do, okay? Unless we can just add one more, okay? We can add one more by simply saying list 5 competitors. List 5 known competitors in that space in the country. Okay, that would be number 5. So we can ask it to list number 5. Mention 3 known competitors. Mention 3 known competitors in that space or ecosystem in Nigeria. Okay, that's it. So we have 5 steps. We gave the agent an identity. Now we can begin to, okay. So before we proceed, I'm going to ask someone to, okay. So I'm going to ask somebody, to explain this, like as if you're talking to the agent with this thing we've written, explain it like the way I've been explaining, so that some other people can also understand. So who is there? You can raise your hand, then I will mute you. So I'm sure that somebody's following. You can raise your hand or just let me know in the chat box. Please, sorry, those of you on YouTube, you'll not be able to talk to me, but I got you. I got you. Yes. Whose game? In Zoom. Let's get you. Yusuf Bunya said he's ready. So Yusuf Bunya, I'm going to unmute you in 1 minute, just what we have on the screen there. Go ahead. I've asked you to unmute.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Stewart, for the opportunity. So basically, we are creating an AI agent, and first of all, we asked us to give the AI an identity, where we told the AI what it is.
Please,
that's who he is.
Can we hear you a little bit? Come on, give us volume.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better. Go ahead.
All right. So we were asked to create an AI agent, and the process of creating an AI agent, you asked us to give the AI an identity first, and we ended up telling the AI who he is and what he does, and that is started by you are an AI business consultant that helps entrepreneurs discover just the prompt that is there. Then after that, we need to develop what the goal of this thing is, what we want the agent to do for us, what we want it to achieve. We'll give it the goal, then we design the workflow so that it will follow step by step to deliver on that goal that we need it to do. And what we ended up doing here was that we gave it a step by step on how it should generate that business idea that when a user, somebody that needs its consultation, that needs its services, come to him and tell him, I want to build a business in Port Harcourt, he should be able to decipher the problems that Port Harcourt people are having, develop 5 business opportunities that businesses can give to that person, solutions that have economic value, and then be able to state the startup cost for the person to begin that business, and also suggest 3 strategies that the person can use to take that business to the market and start implementation immediately. And then you should mention 3 known competitors. That's those who are already in the industry doing one thing or the other about those particular problems that are already existing within that city that they want to build that business. Basically, this AI is like an entrepreneur consultant. I don't know if that answers it, sir.
Thank you so much, Bunya. Take your flowers. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please, are we thanking Bunya in the chat box or not? Let's thank him so much, Yusuf. God bless you. Really good. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so it's clear. It's clear that we got that. We got that. And that's okay. So if you watch, I just added something at the end. I say present the output in a clear, structured format. When Buya was explaining, and he said mention 3 known competitors in that space or ecosystem in Nigeria, I thought of adding direct, or indirect competitors. Direct or indirect competitors, all right? Direct or indirect competitors. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, Bunya. All right, so now we have that, okay? Now we have that. One of the things we're going to do is, let me show you right there. So let me run this. Just let's leave it this way. Like I said, I don't want anything too complex. Okay, we want to be able to get it, just something very easy like that. Okay. So something is running right there. Let me also copy this prompt first. Let me copy this prompt and go to ChatGPT. So for those of us using something like ChatGPT, let me copy it and go there. I think we have ChatGPT. Yeah. This is the account we've been using for our class. So yeah. So look at what ChatGPT said. Understood. Give me the name of any Nigerian city, blah, blah, blah. City problems for each opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Estimated cost, I'll estimate the blah, blah, blah. So it's an agent. Now, it's not going to just give you, it's not just giving us anything. It's waiting for us. So now let me respond. Now listen carefully. All right, you heard what I said, and you heard the explanation that Bunya gave to us. as well. So the idea here is that you said in your prompt that when a user, so I'm a user now, and I come here and I say city, I put colon and I say Port Harcourt, for example. Remember, we told it Nigerian city. So I said city, colon, Port Harcourt. Now, listen, you know that, listen carefully. If you go to your normal chat and you just go and type in Port Harcourt, ChatGPT can probably start explaining what Port Harcourt is, where it is, and all. But because we're creating an agent, and that's why I'm starting like this today. We've been used to generative AIs, and I'm starting from there. We're creating it here. Yes, we're not moving the agent out first to be independent, but we're creating it here. So I need you to pay attention, understand what an agent is. What it means is that just see this my interface now as the agent, because if you go back to the prompt, and luckily they've dropped the prompt in the chat box, so you can go back and check it if you did not write it down, and I'll be wondering why you did not. So we said you are an AI business consultant that helps entrepreneurs discover profitable business. You analyze this, blah, blah, blah. We say always provide this and this. But we now say when a user provides, look at it here, let me highlight it. We say when a user provides a city name, do the following. Number one. So for it to carry out any action, basically, it has to wait for us. It will wait for your next instruction. It will wait for so that, but once you drop that, it will carry out every other thing without your interference. Okay, so let's see. I just say city and then I say Port Harcourt. So look at the kind of search he's doing. Now he's done. Port Harcourt business opportunity analysis. You can see that. Remember what we said. We gave it how we should follow it. Now it's giving us the major problems. Then it proceeds to give us the 5 business opportunities we talked about. One, it's giving us all of them. Then once it's done with that, it gives us the estimated cost. This is the second opportunity. It gives us the estimated cost, gives us the competition, just like we said, just like that. Look at that. That is an agent. That's an agent. And you see, once I come down here, let it finish. If I come down here and I say Lagos, a similar thing is doing, look at it, exactly what he did before. Is an agent. Is an agent. Is an agent. So all I need to tell anybody is just give me the city. And I have each of these, a template already prepared for you. And I can forward this straight to your email or anywhere. Just put in your city and I can forward this or whatever, and any other way we want to do it, okay? Okay. All right. So, you know, we can actually try to do something better. Okay, we can improve on it. Remember, okay, we can improve on it. Please, can you still hear me? Yusuf Bunya, just take it easy. We're going to see how we can be able to get this out. In most cases, of course, we have to write some Python script, but let's proceed because this will help us as we proceed and enter into automation. Okay. Let's modify it. Let's modify it. We can add something like this. Where is it, Tidara? Please help me type my thoughts. Then we can get it. We can say focus on businesses that, because I'm checking now to see that the startup cost is just picking from here to here. But let's say focus your business or focus on businesses that can start with less than 2 million. Focus with businesses that can start with less than 2 million. Okay. Focus on businesses. Yeah, thank you, Tidara. Please, you guys can see it in the chat box. Let me just copy it from the chat box there as Tidara typed it. Tidara, I can't see. Okay. So let me copy what Tidara typed there. Okay, and I can say, so let me just add it here. I want to show you something. Okay. Tidara, remember, don't assume. I know that he knows he's Nigerian and to know it's Naira, but don't assume. Okay, maybe we can add one more thing to modify it again. What should we add there? We can say prioritize ideas that use digital technology. Prioritize ideas that use digital technology. Tidara, you can type that. Yes, we're modifying it. We're modifying it. We're modifying it. Tidara, go ahead, please. Prioritize ideas, yes, that uses digital technology. Prioritize ideas that uses digital technology. Okay, so let me copy what Tidara wrote there. Okay. All right. Okay. So now you can see, if you come to the estimated cost, look at it. Let me see that. Okay. Yeah, startup cost between 300,000 to 1 million for this one. So it has remodeled that particular one. So if I say city, please listen, I want to show you something from what we said earlier on, that it should be able to retain. All right, it should be able to retain stuff. So you can see something like this. It should be able to retain. So despite those adjustments I made, right? So it still retained what we talked about. It still retained what we talked about. It still retained what we talked about. Okay. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. We're going to do it right here. And we're going to do it as a team. Where I will need you to build a study assistant agent, that is an agent that helps students study or prepare for exams. So I've given you the goal already. I've given you the name and the goal. The next one I'll give you, okay. So a study assistant agent that the goal is that it helps students prepare for exams. So I want you to write a script that will give the students to give, in short, let's do it like this. Yeah, a study assistant agent. No, Summer Queen, the way you wrote it, I want you to separate the name from the goal. I want you guys to get used to goal until we get that. The name is a study assistant agent. Why the goal is to help students prepare for exams. So let's do it like this. Etidara, let's do it like this. Etidara, Yusuf Bunya, David Koko, Festa Eyaye, Festa Eyaye, and let's do one more. Let's do Prudence. Let's do Prudence. So what I want 5 of you to do is to write the script to give this AI an identity. Yes, Etidara, Yusuf, Festa, David, Coco, and Prudence. What I want you guys to do is to give the AI an identity. So write the prompt to give the AI an identity. And everyone will come under your prompt and either make an addiction or suggest something to remove. So let's go. 5 of you, just write your own. Please just be real, just try. Let's freestyle quickly. Quickly. Those of you on YouTube, Moscow Digital and Peace Akban, if you're still there, Moscow Digital, Peace Akban, and Alternated 47. So do the same thing. Write the prompt to give the AI an identity, the AI agent an identity. Quickly. Sorry guys. I don't want us to stay here beyond 10 p.m. tonight. Oh yeah, please. You push you look at Etidara has dropped. Go, 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 go and bombard them. Go and know what to remove. In Etidara zone, I'm seeing something to remove already. So let's go. Look at Bunya zone. Look at Bunya zone. I've seen an error in Bunya zone, even if I understand what he wanted to write, even if I understood it, but it's an error. So, and of course, we know that AI is an non-mind reader. So if we see an error, at least we correct it. Gloria Jaja, take it easy. Which one is adding map again? God, I beg you. Gloria Jaja, so you were planning to say we should include map in that small consultancy that agent you want to do. Hi, wicked somebody like this. Good, good, good. Yusuf Bunya, since nobody wants to point out, I thought what you wanted to write there is curriculum. Is it curriculum or curriculum? I don't know. And then Etidara, since nobody is asking you, why, if it's going to help prepare for exam that helps them, why are you analyzing weakness of the students and suggest possible solution to handle those weaknesses? It's helping them prepare for exams. What weaknesses do you want to start? And I don't know. It's your stuff. I'm just. First, I hear you say you're an AI study assistant designed to help students learn effectively. First, I hear you, is that what we said? Understand topics and prepare for examination. Okay, you're expanding your AI agent tool. You're expanding it. Your primary goal is to help them understand the material well enough to recall and apply it independently. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Let your colleagues come and do justice to it. Okay, so while we're doing that, somebody said, Nsikan said, we should go back to, Nsikan said, can we continue with Google Studio? Let's see what the result looks like over there. Okay, let's go back to Google Studio, guys. Whoa. So this is what Google Studio did for us. Now you know why I started with Google Studio. You see, I told you that when you get to certain level, your conversation will not be, oh, this AI is better than this and this. No, you just know that, okay, let me use this one and run these. And look at that. Look at what Google Studio gave to me. So I will just come here and type in the city. Can you all see? Talk to me. Can you all see, please? So I'll come here and type in, let me type in Aba. So can you see? As I'm typing it, Aba is even suggesting for me. Look at it. Oh. ah. So you can see, as I'm typing AB, it has given me Abuja, Aba, Asaba, Abeokuta, Calabar, because there's also AB. Hey, somebody said I should expand the screen. Hey, God, I beg you. So look at it. Look at it. Can you see full screen now? So I want to say Aba, and there is a button here that says Consult AI. So look at that. So if I go down, look at it, it has done everything we asked it to do. You can see everything. Look at it. It broke down everything. Here, if you're using desktop here, you can see how it will look on mobile. This is how it will look on mobile view. So I'm using my tab so I can be able to check both desktop view and mobile, right? Okay. Okay. So let me go back. So you can see. So this is your default project. This is your default project. I can also share. So you can set up your billing and all of that, and then so you can see. So I've copied the link. Let me drop it in the chat box. I've dropped the link in the chat box. So you guys can see, right? Magical. Magical right there. Henry the King, I didn't publish. I just clicked on share. I just clicked on share. All right. All right. So yeah, I guess it should be your network, sir. Joy Emmanuel. Yeah, Tinutenda is able to share. Tinutenda, are you using a desktop? Nice. Just make sure you're also using the right tool, those of you that are having issues. Okay, so please try as much as you can to okay, please, all of you, please, Summer Queen, take note. Everyone that succeeds, please drop your links. You also drop it in the WhatsApp group, not just that. This night, not tomorrow morning. So before you sleep, do it now. Open it up on your mobile and then do a 1-minute video, show how it works. Put a city, put like 2 different cities and show, please. And then you're also going to be able to share it on your socials tomorrow. But I need those tonight. Please refresh if it's not, or try to do it again. I just hope you're using the right tool. Tidara zone has started showing. Thank you, Tidara. So let's do all of that. Please, for the one I just gave us for the study assistant, come up with the steps, come up with like 5 steps on what you want to do. We'll check them tomorrow. We'll check them tomorrow. Yeah, David Coco, I can see. Amazing, guys. Please, in short, Summer Queen, open the group now as we're talking, so they will not forget. So you drop the link, then drop a 1-minute to 2-minute video of how your agent was working. Please, I need to see it so I know what we need to improve on in our next class. Yes, Yusuf Bunya, try. All right, guys, please, I'll see us on the other side. I don't want to stay on this call beyond 10. So please, thank you. Drop. Okay. Yeah, that's true. When you're sharing the link, check here. On access, you will see anyone with the link can view, select it. If you say restricted, then it's only those you can give access. So go to your settings here and select anyone with the link can view. Select that. Then you copy the link. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone. Do have a wonderful evening. Please remember my task. I might surprise us tomorrow with a quiz. So get ready. Please, Queen, thank you so much. You've consistently given this training, some sort of reason and lifeline. Okay, you've thank you for your follow-up. Thank you. I know it's not easy, but then